So the standard cost and variances chapter continues from our flexible budget, and we're going to jump right into this one. This is direct materials and direct labor. So keep in mind that we are working on budgeting still, and we are looking at flexible budgets, and we are looking at variances. We just continue to break it down. And we could continue to break this down in a couple more chapters, but this is as far as we'll get in breaking it down. So I wanted to stop right here and show you. So this company produces a product, and the direct material, so the standard quantity is 6.8, and that could be yards, that could be centimeters, whatever. It doesn't really matter. So we're just going to call it, for now, we'll call it yards. So it takes 6.8 yards to make 1 unit, and it costs $3 per yard. So the cost of direct materials is 6.8 yards times $3 a yard, or $20.40 to make 1 unit. It takes a half an hour to make 1 unit, and we pay $11 per hour, so it costs $5.50 to make 1 unit. So these are our standard. This is what we think is going to happen this year. It's what we base our budget on. But obviously, things change. Prices go up, prices go down. We use more than we thought. We don't use as much as we thought. It's a better quality. It's a lower quality. Lots of things can happen. We have a lot of turnover. We have a lot of training. And so we do our variances to determine what's going on in production. Now, your book sets it up the way that I learned this and still practice this. And so I really am excited that your book sets it up this way for you, because I've seen some that don't. And so on page 515, this is the review problem. And I hope, we're here at the end of the book. I hope you know these are back here. But the way that I've always been taught to set these up is my actual quantity times my actual price. And then I come over here and I do my standard quantity times my standard price. And then I jump back to the middle and I do my actual quantity times my standard price. And see, I've got my AQ and my SP meeting here in the middle. And that's how I've always learned this. And I just did that wrong. There we go. Actual quantity, oh my goodness, times actual price. I think I said it and typed it wrong. And over here's my standard, and then they meet in the middle. Okay, so my actual quantity, and we're talking about direct materials. And so we actually purchased 22,900 pounds of material. All the materials purchased was used, and so that's important that we catch that. And then this talks about our direct labor. So our actual quantity was 22,900, and it was purchased at $2.70 per pound. Yeah, it doesn't like my dollar sign, so sorry about that. Okay, and that is a dollar amount. And then my standard over here is based on my actual production. So 3,000 units is what I produced. I thought, so my 3,000 times my 6.8 yards times $3. So that's what I thought I would use in my production in producing 3,000 units. And then my actual quantity, my 22,900 times my standard price, or 68,700. So there you kind of see all the different numbers, and then we take the difference between the two. It's 6,870, and I'm actually going to get rid of that negative sign so that it doesn't confuse you. And 7,500. So these are my variances. And so what's different between these two? It's my price. And so this is called my price variance. What's the difference between the two over here? It's my quantity. So this is called my quantity variance. Now, is it favorable or is it unfavorable? And so this price variance, my actual is more than what my standard. So I spent less than I thought I was going to. That's favorable. My quantity variance, my standard is much lower than my actual, so that's actually unfavorable. And then I can net the two and come up with my total direct material variance. And that's the way this works. And so the key is basing this on your actual production. So for my direct labor variance, it's very similar. And the example of that is also on page 515. I take my actual hours times my actual rate, my standard hours times my standard rate, and then they meet in the middle, actual hours times standard rate. I think I did that one right this time. So I actually worked 1,400 hours, and it doesn't give me the amount per hour, but it gives me a total up here of 18,200. So I can actually just go ahead and put the 18,200 here, but I do need to know what that is. And so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do 18,200 divided by 1,400, and I'm going to learn that I paid $13 per hour. So then I take my actual hours, 1,400, times my standard rate of $11, and I'm going to put that equal sign in front of it. And I have 15,400, and then my standard hours to produce my actual units, so 3,000 units, times 0.5 hours, what I thought it would take, times my rate. You got to make sure you grab that 0.5 or you're going to have, your number is going to be too high. And so the difference between my actual hours and my actual rate and my actual hours and my standard rate is 18,200 minus 15,400. And what's different here? It's my rate, and so that is my rate variance. And then I'm going to come over here and calculate my difference. And what's different here? It's my hours. And so this is called an efficiency variance, because we're seeing how efficient we are in our direct labor. And then we have to determine if they're favorable or unfavorable before we can net them. And so my actual is 18.2. What I thought I would spend was 15.4, so that is very unfavorable. And then my actual is 15.4. My standard is 16.5, so I'm actually favorable here. And then I can net the two. And in netting the two, I've got an unfavorable variance overall. So you back up and you analyze this. Is it good? Is it bad? Okay, why did we have a $6,800 price variance? What caused this? It's favorable. So what that means is we didn't have to pay as much per yard as we thought we would. Then over here we've got an unfavorable, which means we used more material than we thought we would. Well, maybe we used more material because we had a lower quality because we paid less money. Overall, a $630 variance is very low. It's a percentage. That's like 1% of your total. So that's actually a really good analysis, but we do want to determine probably from purchasing and production. Purchasing, why did we pay less? And production, why did we use more? And we might see a correlation between the two. Over here we see that we paid more than we thought, but we were more efficient. So maybe we had less turnover, but that's about 10%, so that's pretty significant. We need to determine what's going on. This is why we do the variances, so we can investigate and move forward intelligently.